8-handled sword divergent Scylla Divine General Mahoraga, or just known as Mahoraga. Mahoraga is by far one of the most powerful forces and characters in the entire Jujutsu Kaisen universe, being able to stand up to the likes of Sukuna, and even outperforming Gojo, and getting past his infinity. Being one of the few untamable curses, he has cemented himself as one of the strongest characters in the entire show. And Kaiju number 10, one of the many offsprings of Kaiju number 9, Kaiju number 10, while nowhere near as powerful as Kaiju number 8, is considered to be one of the strongest numbered Kaiju in the verse, having a power fortitude of 8.3. He is one hard hitter. Hello everyone, it's your host Koji Guy. This video will be different than normal. I'll be going over all their feats at once, rather than having them duke it out for certain categories, as they don't really have any cut and dry answer to their strength and speed, so pretty much we'll be going over all their feats and have them laid out, and once done, we'll cover their advantages and what can happen in this fight. So, starting with Mahoraga, and I'm gonna be honest, I barely have enough time to write this script alone, much less research all of Mahoraga's feats. So I present my friend and fellow YouTuber to cover it. Take it away, Viper.
Hey, it's me, Viper, and thanks Goji Guy for letting me on the channel. It's an honor. So, today I'm here to explain to you Mahoraga's strength, durability, speed, and abilities against his opponent. So, let's start off with Mahoraga's strength. Not only was Mahoraga able to deflect one of Sukuna's slashes with his raw power, the same slashes proceeding to leave a dent in the building behind them, we also see these same slashes are able to cut through buildings constantly. Anyways, but the fact that Mahoraga can just punch away these slashes is really impressive. When Mahoraga and Sukuna clashed as well in their fight, their power was so immense it caused the buildings around them to shake and cause shockwaves so hard that the building they were on just sliced. An even larger slash than the one initially used on Mahoraga. Mahoraga then proceeds to literally backhand Sukuna through several buildings, Sukuna calling the attack not bad in response. As Sukuna, or more Yuji Kuna at this point, since this was a Yuji Kuna with 15 fingers, Yuji Kuna at this point is essentially able to do things such as impressive as leave huge craters in the ground, or even just by moving his leg a bit, destroy entire bridges. Not only that, later on when Mahoraga was summoned again after Sukuna tamed him, he just punches open Yoruzu's infinite pressure spear, which, you know, as the name implies, it is infinite pressure. It could also just leave massive craters in the ground just by it existing. However, most importantly, not only is Mahoraga able to cut Gojo with his blade, even at one point he just cuts through Gojo's arm and leaves a massive crater in the building behind it. Gojo is someone who is so impressive in terms of his raw physical stats that his cursed energy, which is a physical stat, as we know cursed energies can be used to increase your physicality. His cursed energy was so powerful it could power an entire nation. And even just Gojo awakening from the prison realm caused a massive earthquake. For speed, Mahoraga is not only able to keep up and tag Gojo in their encounter, but also keep up with Meguna in the same encounter, who was fighting alongside him against Gojo. Gojo being stated to be the fastest sorcerer ever, and Sukuna should be right below Gojo in terms of speed. But later on in their encounter when Mahoraga was dealt with, Sukuna was actually getting blitzed by Gojo and was shocked at how fast Gojo was. Gojo and Sukuna are so fast that Sukuna is able to blitz people like a Megami. Anyways, Sukuna is also able to create a blood pierce technique which is so fast that it created a sonic boom just from sheer speed, Gojo being able to react to the same technique, as well as Gojo dodging the explosions of cursed spirits. However, the most impressive speed feats come from Sukuna, who was able to dodge Kashimo's EMP wave-based attacks, even after he was stunned and just got done fighting Gojo. This is extremely impressive, as at the very least, this attack should range from being as slow as normal lightning to being as fast as light, depending how you look at it. For durability, Mahoraga is insanely durable, being able to take Sukuna's slashes. While he is bleeding, he still is able to take the slashes and, as we discussed before, deflect them with sheer strength, as well as he takes several hits from Sukuna in this encounter, leading to be taken down by arguably Sukuna's strongest technique in terms of raw power, his fire arrow. However, it should be noted this could possibly not because of his durability, but also because he just needs to be adapting and regenerated at least some of the things that go on in this fight. Or even when he wasn't adapted, Mahoraga could still take red and blues from Gojo on the first try, with Gojo thinking they would be ineffective later on as well. Even Mahoraga just taking outright hits from the same earthquake level Gojo, and even 2 black flashes in their fight being fine. In fact, Mahoraga seemed to take more damage from Sukuna's slashes before. And like Sukuna, the only way Gojo could defeat Mahoraga was with Gojo's strongest technique in terms of raw power, his Hollow Bird Bolt. However, Mahoraga's best trump card is actually his abilities. We're going to start with the simple stuff and then move on to the things that need more explaining. Mahoraga is able to see invisible things such as Sukuna's slashes, and imbue positive curse energy into his blade to one-shot any cursed spirit. However, these 2 abilities would likely be useless in this fight. Something that would be useful is Mahoraga's World Slash, a technique he developed from adapting to Gojo's Limitless, but he still seems to keep on his favor. Mahoraga is able to release a slash that cuts the world, and as we see, slash right through Gojo's infinity, meaning the slash is cutting through space, which the explanation for the technique by Sukuna says the same thing. Coding and cuts through space, existence, and the world. Which probably shouldn't be taken too literally. I doubt Mahoraga could cut the planet in half. However, when Sukuna uses the same slash against Kashimo, it does do massive damage to the surrounding area. So hey, who knows. Mahoraga also has his own form of regeneration, which goes along with his adaptation, which will be explained in a bit. This regeneration acts fast, and even works when Sukuna uses Domain on Mahoraga, Malevolent Shrine. When Sukuna's Domain slashes at Mahoraga entirely. However, we see him again, the slashes are just gone, pretty much meaning that you need to utterly vaporize Mahoraga to truly kill him, which makes sense considering this is how Gojo and Sukuna kill him. Speaking of adaptation, Mahoraga's adaptation allows Mahoraga to, well, adapt to his opponent, either be their strength, speed, or abilities they have. We most often see him adapt to the opponent's technique, or abilities in this case, which is when he adapted to Sukuna's slashes. Sukuna explains that this adaptation by not only saying that Mahoraga adapted to a singular slash, as Sukuna actually has 2 different slashes for 2 different purposes, Dismantle and Cleave, but he adapted slashing attacks as a whole. Which makes sense, as Sukuna explains that when he adapts to a technique and analyzes it, he actually goes beyond just adapting to it, and will essentially continue to adapt further and just surpass technique as a whole. Mahoraga can not only adapt to offensive techniques, but also defensive techniques, shown with Gojo's Limitless. He was able to create a whole new attack, the World Slash, to bypass Gojo's infinity, and when Yorozo used their Infinite Pressure Spear on him, Mahoraga analyzed the base technique, and then adapted to it, proceeding to break through the spear. His adaptation is so fast, even as he was just summoned into existence, he immediately broke through Yorozo's technique. As Sukuna states, the only way to counter this adaptation is you need one attack to just one-shot Mahoraga. Otherwise, any other attack would be completely ineffective, other than maybe slightly hurting him a bit. This makes Mahoraga almost an unkillable threat if you don't have the right tool or knowledge to defeat him, showing just how dangerous he can be. In conclusion, Mahoraga is an incredibly dangerous foe that without the right counters is a Shikigami that is almost impossible to best. Back to you, Goji Guy.
Thank you, Viper, for that. And now into Kaiju number 10. Now, Kaiju number 10 has 2 forms, his normal form and his Kaiju form, which we'll discuss after the first battle. But let's talk about Kaiju number 10's normal form. For strength, he is one heck of a hitter. Now, firstly, given he's deemed powerful enough to become a numbered Kaiju, that means he is much stronger than any unnamed Kaiju. 2 most notable ones being the Mushroom Kaiju in episode 6, and the Honju Mega Bomb in episode 10. So let's quickly go over the Kaijus firstly. Starting with the giant mushroom one. Now, given its sheer size, just being able to move, it could be outputting strength on par for what is needed to destroy an entire city with a single step. Now onto the Honju Bomb. First, we need to look at the Honjus themselves. They first have a fortitude reading of 6.1 all the way up to 6.5, already making them pretty strong, but they live up to it. As we firstly see, they come through re-entry, or at least something pretty close, as they're catching on fire and have a smoke trail. One of them shows that from a single beam, they're able to blast right through a building and light up the next few blocks with fire and smoke. But let's move on to their Kaiju Bomb. Now, this bomb in the manga was such a large explosion that in order to properly display how violent it was, they had to draw the curvature of the Earth. And here it is for scale, by the way. And here's the fun part. The fortitude scale in Kaiju number 8 seems to grow exponentially, specifically around 2 times every time. So let's guess these Honju Kaiju are on average around 6.3. Well, Kaiju number 10 into 8.3 would be 2,097,152 times stronger than any of those single birds. Now, let's highball how many birds were actually in this explosion, to give Mahoraga the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they're on 500 in this bomb. well, dividing the number by 500, Kaiju number 10 is still 4,194 times stronger. He also has general feats like being able to take blows from Vice Captain Hoshina, the same guy who can injure Kaiju number 8, which if you need his durability feats, just go watch the Gojo vs Kaiju number 8 video. And Hoshina himself said Kaiju number 10 punches with the force of meteors. And Kaiju number 10, speed-wise, is able to perform on par with Hoshina, and even catch him off guard during their battle. Hoshina being able to blitz Kaiju number 8, who is at least Mach 10. And his durability doesn't even really matter, as he just has really good regeneration. Now, he does lack in intelligence. While he was able to coordinate an attack of the JSDF base with the Honju, he has shown in the battle that he tends to be a little cocky and act childish. But other than that, he doesn't really have any feats after his death. While getting turned into a weapon to live on, we can't really use those feats as they're just amplifying Hoshina. And for abilities, he's able to shapeshift, even going as far as putting eyes all around his body, so it would be hard for Mahoraga to sneak up behind him. And he's also able to shoot projectiles out of his fingers, which can decimate buildings and cities around him. And also, quickly off topic, if you want to try GamerSup's new Cursed Energy flavored blend, make sure to check out the first link down below. And make sure to use code GojiGuy at checkout for 10% off. Anyways, keep going. So, let's discuss who takes what. So this fight will be brutal and difficult. Kaiju number 10 clearly has an advantage when it comes to strength and durability, making it hard for Mahoraga to do much at first. But Mahoraga is still smarter, faster, and has better abilities. Now, if Kaiju number 10 punches him full force off the bat, that would probably put Mahoraga out of commission. But that's not how Kaiju number 10 fights. As you said, he's cocky, holding back at first, and then leading into his power. So due to this, even holding back, Mahoraga will get damaged, but he won't die, which is the most important part here, as now he can get used to that level of power and adapt, starting to be able to dish out some harder hits himself. And as Kaiju number 10 will start to push himself, Mahoraga will have adapted at that point, eventually using his World Slash to cut Kaiju number 10 into pieces. So, the winner is Mahoraga. Oh, yeah, that. Well, as I mentioned, Kaiju number 10 has two forms. And congrats, Mahoraga, you beat the first. But now you need to fight his giant version. And while it seems like Mahoraga shouldn't really have to do much, as I mean, it's just a bigger one, it's not that big of a deal, right? The issue is his fortitude has grown as well, going all the way up to 9.0, making him 128 times stronger than his original version. A Mahoraga still takes speed, his attacks won't do anything anymore. And Kaiju number 10, not knowing how Mahoraga works, won't hold back. But that doesn't mean he'd attack randomly. He would wait for the perfect opening to hit Mahoraga dead on, and once he does, he punches him in the face. With enough force to literally destroy the planet, Kaiju number 10 in his 9.0 fortitude form can one-punch Mahoraga. So yeah, there it is. They both win and lose. It just depends on which version. Did you enjoy the video? Let me know in the comments. And massive shout out to Viper. Let's try and get him to 1K subs, yeah? Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, keep collecting. Goji Guy out. See ya.